Hi, this is Jack Downs with a little tutorial on the titles exercise for 240, one of your first exercises using Movie Studio. The skills that you learn here, are really critical because you're going to do almost exactly the same thing in the editing of your webcam video and in future videos too. The idea of adding a title at the beginning, the idea of adding text on the screen, a lower thirds. We would call it informational text while we're watching the video that describes something or gives someone's name. The idea of adding credits at the end, which run through the list of who did what and who we're crediting for things. Okay, so you should have a handout where you can look at it on Moodle called about the titles exercise, which and it gives the due date and so on. You could go ahead and just play along with this video or watch it once through first, then try to use the instructions either way. I suggest you make a project folder. I've got a somewhat different system here, but same idea. In my 240, I made a folder called for the titles, and then I made originals, working, and grading. You'll see something that I tend to do actually, which I didn't really tell you about before. I tend to put numbers on these so then they appear in the right order when I'm sorting things by name, so I keep track of that. In the originals folder, I ask you to download and put in here the dancers video, which we used before. And you remember, you'll find that over on Moodle in the resource folder with dancers. Remember, whenever you download, do a right click, save link as, and then download it. And it may end up with a second download with a number or so on like that. But other choices, the choices might be slightly different with other browsers, although I like Chrome and suggest you use that. And so it's there, right? Yes, I just showed it to you. There it is. There it is. Okay. Good. So we're going to take that video and we're going to put it into Movie Studio. So let's open up Movie Studio. When you first open up Movie Studio, it should look like this. And I have told you before, widescreen, yes, that's what we do. And we are going to click on Power User Mode. Okay. And it wants to save it right away. And that's not a bad thing. I think you'll probably save it in, that's not the right place. You want to find the right location. Mine is entitled Demo, and this would be in Working. I'm saving the project. See, it's a VF file. And I'm going to name this titles, or my name titles, Jack titles, or titles in my name. Be fine either way. I'm not picky. Now this copy media with project, you know, if you put the media in the folder already, that dancers file is what we're talking about here. This is the individual parts. Great. This would be a way for you to let the program do something like that for you. It wouldn't put it in the originals folder. It would put it in. It would put it just right here, right beside the VF file. I think it's fine if you want to use that system instead. I'm using it, just manually putting things in the folder, so I feel like I have more control. Either way is fine. Do both if you want to. And click on that too, but you end up with multiple copies of those original files. That's what that's about. So I'm just going to go ahead and save because it wants me to do that. Okay, this is the Power User Mode. Remember, I'm not using these things here in the Power User Mode. Project Media is right here. I can add media by clicking Add Media. I can find it under a menu up here somewhere. I can just drag and drop things on here, fine either way. Why don't I add media just to be kind of official? And I'm going to go to my titles demo originals, and there it is. When I add media, it automatically drops it out here on the timeline, right? And if I don't like that, I can just select it and say delete. All right. But unfortunately, in this new program, it also deletes it from the project media bin. So anyway, that's how it goes. I'm going to, again, do Control Z to bring that right back. I can't move it otherwise, but I can move it around here like this, right? If it's kind of in the way. It's assuming because I put it in the project media bin, I want it on the timeline, in other words. Okay, good. That's how it goes. I believe there is a setting that could be changed, but we won't worry about that at this time. Okay, so you will remember what this file is, and if you're not sure, you can always just play it. Yes, that's it. Music you will get sick of after a while. Okay, stop. Good. Okay, so I can also see a few things. I can see that this is appears relatively short, but if I look at the seconds, I see it's more than 20 seconds. and I want to zoom in on it, yes, I can use the zoom button, but I really like zooming with the scroll bar. Remember, if you grab the edge of the scroll bar, see how my cursor down here on the right, and you hover over the edge of the scroll bar, you'll get a double-headed arrow, which allows you to zoom in time. So I'm going to zoom in quite a bit, so it's essentially just showing me mostly just that video. And now I can see exactly, that's 23, almost 24 seconds long. Almost 24 seconds long. Good. Okay, so I did that. I zoomed in. What else am I going to do? We're going to use this whole file, so we're not going to have to trim it. So that's one thing. Good. And in the instructions, I tell you to first create your intro slide. Okay, very good. We're going to go to media generators. For most of the media, like the intro slide and the text on, sometimes I call it text over video or lower thirds, we're going to use this titles and text choice here. We're going to sometimes use the credit roll choice for the credit roll. I have this legacy text choice, which you probably don't have, so don't worry about it. And then we will sometime in the future maybe use some of these things too. Okay, here we go, titles and text. Well, I could double click on it, but I'll have more control if I drag it and drop it right where I want to. And I want it at the beginning, okay? At the beginning. So I put it to start right at the start of the video. Now, you also see it automatically opens up this editing kind of window here, which if you move around to get it out of the way, you certainly can. Sometimes you move it where you don't want it, and it'll kind of get stuck into the program, and you have to find a way to pull it out. Yeah, you'll work that out. Anyway, this window is here, and sometimes you say, well, I'm not really ready to edit the text or something. I just want to decide how long I want this thing to be and get myself organized. That's okay. Just close it up. Okay, right? I can see that this thing here is 10 seconds long, which is way too long. You'll see in your instructions, I tell you have about 4 seconds. So I'm just going to close this up to about 4 seconds. I can see it right there. It's 4. This is now showing me like seconds and half seconds. If I change my magnification, it would just show me seconds. All right, and this would be, and you show me the 4 mark. I'm actually a little more than 4. So changing the magnification will allow you to, so I'm just seeing seconds now. I can see it 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5. 0, 0, 0, 0, 5. Will allow you to use the timeline more effectively. Unfortunately, there isn't any select and show me how long something is, which is something that's changed in this program, and this is not the pro version of the program any longer. But that's okay. We can just look at things and see how long they are using the timeline. We can also select it by double-clicking on them, but it doesn't show me anywhere where it is, what the length is then, which is annoying. It would normally have showed it to me there. Okay, enough of that. What do we want to do here? Well, we made it 4 seconds. Okay, but we want to do some other things to it. I want to put my cursor someplace in it, and I see that my sample text is there. I can see it in the preview window, but it's like kind of small and just in the middle of the screen, and it's transparent background, so I'm looking at trying to read the text and see the people at the same time. Well, I don't want to do that. In this case, I want black background. I want the text to be bigger, and it's going to say Dancers is the title, and then on the second line, in the smaller type, it's going to say something like by Jack Downs. This would be your name for yours, right? How do I get back to the editing screen? It's this button right here, Generated Media. This button, which is the third button to the left at the end of the clip. If I click on it, it gets this window back again. Sure, good. I'm going to move the window out of the way so I can see what I'm going to see what's going on here in the preview window because I have my cursor right there in that area. Why am I? Okay, well, let's just continue. Let's change the background first of all. You'll find it under Advanced. Already you'll see that this window is a little awkward. I can lose things in it sometimes. There's a scroll bar in the window. But anyway, you'll get used to it. Click on Background. The background already is black, but the problem is it's at fully transparent black. Okay, great. So I'm just going to change it to not transparent. Move the transparency slider up to completely opaque. I did that. Good. And now I'm going to click, and you can see what's happening here. Now I'm going to click into the text. I'm going to leave it at Verdana. I'm going to change it to about 42. I think I see that in there. I'm going to call it Dancers. Oops, I got to click. Sometimes you have to reselect the text. Dancers, I think that's fine. I don't think it needs to be bolded or anything, but you can change things around if you want, like that. And then I'm going to put my cursor on the next line. I'm going to change it to about 20 point, and I'm going to type, again, click on my line, I'm going to type 5. Come on, come back here. Okay, good. And I see that it's kind of like flush left, but I want this stuff to be centered. So I'll select it all. I'm just going to use the centering paragraph style button right there. All right, good, that worked. Maybe you think that you want some space between the two. Well, you could put an extra blank line in there. Oops, that caused it to bleep out of there. I guess I would have to. Oops, I went to Control Z too far. Let me do that whole thing again. First, I'll type it this way. And I'm going to change it to 48 point. Oh, sorry, 42, let's say. Okay, and then I'm going to make another line here. I can make a couple lines if I wanted to. Okay, I made this one too big. That's okay. I want that to actually be smaller. I'm going to change that to 20. So you can see you play around this just like you would a normal text. And you could put a blank line between them. You can get to this box over here and change the size of it if you want to. I'm going to center that stuff here as I did before. Okay, good. So that is my initial title. By the way, notice this whole time this is on default. There are other choices here. And you can look through them. You can see what they do if you want. But honestly, I don't want you to use them at this time. I think just plain text without doing funny things or sliding or bouncing or dropping or whatever is more professional. So we're going to leave it at default for now. You can look at those things if you want. They're other presets, but we won't be using them at this time. And that should be fine. So I can just close this guy up. All right, so now it shows my dancers. And I'm moving my cursor on here, but what's going to happen when I get to where I can see the dancers again, after my 4 seconds, it's just going to bang right into them. Like it's a completely abrupt transition. You see that? I want to fade that transition. And this will be your first video fade. And this is how I fade. See how when I want to change the length of something, I get this kind of cursor when I hover over the edge of it. But when I hover over that little green triangle-y thing right there, I get a fade out offset. A fade offset. And when I click down there and drag to the left, I can see I have numbers changing, right? I change this to 20, 29, and then 1. 1 is 1 second. 29 is 29 frames, and then it goes to 1 second. So that's how frames equal time in video. 29 frames, then 30 frames is 1 second. So I made a 1 second fade. What does this look like now? When it hits here, it's going to watch the screen. It's going to gradually fade. Now it's over in 1 second, so it's going to happen pretty fast, but it won't be quite as abrupt for the eye. Let's watch this preview window, which I'll make a little bigger. And I'm going to change. Oh, come on. I'm trying to grab the edge of that. I'll put it bigger like that. Okay, good. Preview window now from the beginning, which I will go. There are other controls, but anyway, we'll just slide it back manually. See, I hear the music, I'm looking at the title, and I fade into the video. Okay, that's good. However, what I don't like is the fact that the music, which you don't hear very loud, but can be pretty loud, has started like full volume. I want the music to fade in also, so it doesn't hit you so hard at the beginning. So I'm going to go to an audio fade. Again, all our fades will be 1 second. And I'm going to grab that fade. I'm going to fade in 1 second down here. It's 1 second. I can see there's a 1 second mark, but it's giving me the numbers right there as I go. So I made an audio fade also. I'm going to turn the audio up a little bit. And you'll hear this better when you do it yourself and you have your own headphones on. Again, I'm going to go back to the beginning. All the way beginning. I'm going to watch here. Audio fades up. And then a lot louder because I turned my volume up. But anyway, so that idea is happening. Turned up too much, actually. Good. Now I ask you about, I see in the instructions, about 2 or 3 seconds along. Fade offset. 2 or 3 seconds after the title slide, create a text over video title that says 4th of July Parade. Okay, 1, 2, 3, so somewhere around in here. Good. That's going to be some more titles and text. and I will drop it about, you see, every time, and this is the default that's set up, when the text is this text kind of stuff, these video events we're having, are coming in at a default 10 seconds, which is pretty long. So again, I'm going to make this about 4 seconds. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to make it about 4 seconds. I can see the little second markers there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. I'm going to put my cursor down here and see. Again, it says sample text. Well, this time we're going to do something different. We do want it transparent, but we want it to be down in the lower left and probably a little slower, and it's going to say 4th of July parade. Well, that's all stuff we can do right here. So again, I'm going to change the text to say 4th of July parade. I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to make it a little smaller. I say probably about 18 or so. And then I'm going to change the location of it. How do I change the location of it? There is a location tab that you can use. I find it just as easy to just make sure I can see the whole screen here, to just grab it here and yank it down where I want it. Lower thirds in the lower third of the screen. I want about the space below and the space to the left is kind of balanced. The space below is, for me, is usually as if there was about another line of text there. That could be I could be a little higher, a little further to the right, somewhere in that range in here. It's good. So we'll leave it right there. Good. But I still have some little trouble seeing it. So this is supposed to be information that while I'm watching the video, it tells me what's happening. It might give me someone's name, for instance, or something else. But with this kind of the background, which some is light, some is dark, it's a little hard to see. So let's go to advanced. Oh, not advanced, sorry. Let's go to outline and shadow. I have to scroll down to see those choices completely. So I think outline is useful to do. Outline, it isn't a matter of turning it on. It's already on. It's a matter of saying what color is the outline. Okay, I'm going to bring this slider all the way down to black. I'm going to make it a black outline. And then how big is the outline? How wide is it? See, as I make this, how thick is the outline? That's a much thicker outline. Probably a little more than necessary. I think maybe something around 7 or 8, or 6, 7, or 8 might be good, but you can look at how things look for you. And then shadow. This is something you do have to turn on if you wish it. See, the shadow is quite far offset. In my opinion, it's too far offset here. So you'll be able to see this better on your screen when you're doing it yourself. I'm just going to bring the shadow back more central to the letters. So it's just a little bit offset. Shadow, I don't think is maybe not completely necessary. Outline, I think probably is to make those letters pop out a little bit and be more visible. I guess that's about everything we have to do here in creating it. But again, just to be kind of professional, I would like it to fade in and out this time. In and out this time. Do you see why we didn't do a fade at the beginning of the video portion of the title? Because we don't want to see the video, the video below it first, and then have it disappear and then reappear. We look at the title and it disappears, then we're right into the video. In this case, we've been watching the video already. We're looking at it through here. I'm going to make a 1 second fade, roughly 1 second, doesn't have to be exact. Beginning and end. So we'll have 2 seconds where it'll be fully formed. Come on, out there. And this is what it looks like. I'm going to run this through with the play button. There it goes. 4th of July parade comes on and then goes away. And then we continue. The girls keep on dancing, and they're dancing off the screen. And we will stop that. Okay, someplace over here at the end of this, imagine this whole little video has an awful lot going on for a short period of time. We want to create a credit roll. Here's the credit roll. Ready? Credit roll. Again, I just select it and I drag and drop it because I want to have more control of where I want it. I'm actually going to put it at about 5 seconds in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be about 5 seconds in. I don't have to put this exactly here now. I can move it afterwards, but here's the key point. So it's going to open this up. And my instructions, I tell you, what do I say? Yeah, I say that credit rolls are a little bit glitchy. That's one way of saying it. Or they require you to do things in certain times. And here's one of the issues is, it's 10 seconds, and it's going to accomplish things. It's going to actually roll text over 10 seconds. But we don't want it to be 10 seconds. We want it to be about 5 seconds. But we want it to know that it's 5 seconds, so it accomplishes the jobs it has to do over 5 seconds. And that's a little bit odd, and it requires us to change things in certain order. So I close the editing window and I grip the right side of the clip, I'm going to close the editing window, and gripping the right side of the clip, I'm going to close it up to 5 seconds. Now I know that that's about 5 seconds right there. And in fact, I want it to end at the same place as this. Now, if I didn't put it down there exactly with 5 seconds showing, and I made it 5 seconds over here, and then dragged the whole thing over here, that'd be fine. But it is important that I close it from the right side, because we want to know where its end is, not where its beginning is. That kind of makes sense? Okay, good. So we did that. Now we're going to reopen it and using this generated media button here. So reopen the editing window. And then I tell you some text to put in here. First, 4th of July parade in for the title text. Right there, just select in there. And then the sub-item text is going to be, what? Plattsburgh. And then the item for the left is going to be, what do I say to do that? Videographer. And then on the right, it'll be my name. I'm the videographer, so you put in here Jack Downs. And then over here would be editor. And then over here would be your name. Of course, you put your name in there. Okay, so we told it the text we want to slide through. If we had more things to list here, we could keep on. We had the inset here would make us more and so on. Okay, but here's the problem. It thinks it's 10 seconds, but it's not really, right? So we have to use this match length button. In fact, it says that you just click on the match length button to make the scroll work in this 5-second position, 5 seconds. Okay, here it is, match event length. It's this little guy here, which is right beside us, media properties. So it's the second one from the right. It's got 2 little arrows in it, match event length. So right now it thinks the duration is 10 seconds. When I click on match event length, it says it's 5 seconds and 1 frame, whatever. It's the true length of the thing. So it's going to accomplish what it does over that length of time. Okay, good. That's all we kind of have to do here. Now you'll see there are other choices for other types of scrolls. In this case, plain scrolling on black is the default, and leave it at that. In the future, we may use some other different ones too, other ways that they would work. So we're going to click off this. Okay. So again, though, I'd like it to kind of glide into, to fade into this black, so we don't have that extremely abrupt transition. So I'm going to fade offset 1 second again, about 1 second. Okay, that's good. And again, I think the music is going to drop out really, really abruptly, so I'm going to fade the music out. I'm going to 1 second fade down here. Right? Good. And let's watch how that goes. The whole thing. Fade, and then we see the words go, and the words will end just at the very end. Boom. Okay, good. The whole thing has been accomplished now. So in the end, we have 1 audio fade, 1 video fade, 2 video fades, and then 1 video fade, and then another audio fade. Also, we have a credit roll, we have plain text on a black background, and we have text in lower thirds on a transparent background. That idea of having this kind of title, having perhaps some audio fades, having another title, have a credit roll, that's just what you're going to do in your webcam thing. Okay, so finally the instructions say, I should be saving, by the way. I should save my project as I go. File save. Finally the instructions say, I'll just show you this just so you have it here. You're going to review your work. You're going to watch the whole thing through, right? Good. Yes. Okay. Good. You're going to go to, you got all done. You got it all set. You're sure you're okay? Project make movie, right? And then we do save it to hard drive, and we want MP4, right? And give it a name. Jack Titles is fine for a name, but you want to have the location, right? I want to put it in, not in originals. I'm going to put it in grading, so I know that it's there. I'm going to select that folder. Good. And then I'm all set. I'm ready to go. Don't worry about advanced options. Whatever you do not want this button checked. It looks like in this version of software now, it is never automatically checked, which is good. Unless you know what you're doing, you don't want to render just loop region, just render a portion of the video. You want the whole video. And then I'm going to say next, and it's going to do it. Next makes it happen. And actually, I should see here on the screen the whole thing going through. I see the whole thing happening. Everything from my titles to my video, and then the credit roll at the end. And then the whole thing is done. Almost. That happened pretty fast. Processing your movie is complete. You can play the file. Explore the folder makes more sense, because then I want you to open this up outside of the program, perhaps in some other player. You can do this with a right click, play with VLC, for instance, or some other player. And when you do play it, whatever player you happen to have there, you're viewing it to make sure you got what you expected. And that's my video playing, and so on. I'm going to close that up because I did get what I expected, but you have to look through the whole thing. Only when you're sure you got what you wanted and you're sure what file is what, you place it up on Moodle. Whatever you do, don't give me the VF file. No good, can't use it. Give me the MP4. Okay, I hope this was helpful. You're doing this in class, ask questions. You do it outside of class, have problems, get in touch with me, stuff like that.